Well, welcome to Earth Sessions, Climate Week edition. We're so excited to have you all here tonight. My name is Kiana. I am IE's director of programming. And I'm so thrilled to be hosting you all tonight. Thanks to Future Earth for partnering with us and being here with us. And if you're not already familiar with Earth Sessions, this is a climate justice concert series that we have built to create joyful spaces that celebrate the work of environmental justice leaders, artists, and just supports the revival of revolutionary gathering. So I would like to thank the Solutions Project and Earth Justice for helping us bring this event to life. And thank you to the Patagonia Brooklyn store for having us tonight. Woo! So after a week of corporate panels and a lot of heartbreaking news all around the world, tonight I'm really excited to share this space with you all and spend some time healing through the art of conversation and music. So please allow me to introduce our incredible panelists for tonight, Max and Jasmine.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Can we give another round of applause? Well, thank you both so much for being with us tonight after what I'm sure has been a really exhausting week. And can you both tell us a little bit about yourselves, introduce yourselves and the work that you both do? We can start with you, Jasmine.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jasmine Guadalupe, and I am from the Bronx. You're BX in here? All right. I know we in Brooklyn. I got love for Brooklyn. Don't worry. And I'm the founder of the Hood Hikers, and basically the Hood Hikers is an outdoor adventure company that creates a safe space out in nature for Black and Brown participants. We provide transportation from Brooklyn, Manhattan, and the Bronx, and we go to different great outdoor spaces in the tri-state area, upstate New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and just have a really good time on our terms. And that's all I have for right now.
That was really good. Hi, I'm Max Moinian. I'm the co-founder of Future Earth, which is an Instagram platform and nonprofit for climate education. We like to say that we're friendly but serious, and everyone can sit with us because, and I love that this is the first event that we're doing with IE because I think there's so much alignment in just like the feelings of joy, sustaining activism, and that like we can enjoy the work as we're doing it, and that everyone has a seat at the table, and there's no shaming, and bringing people into the movement through fun graphics and all that kind of stuff. So you can check us out on Instagram, and I'm really happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you both for being here. So I don't know how this week has been for the both of you, but I've been going to a lot of just corporate panels and seeing a lot of corporations flaunting their sustainability work, which we all know how we feel about that. But as leaders of organizations that center environmental justice, I wanted to know what you all think the role of corporations should be in creating an environmentally just future, and how you think corporations can be reaching out to grassroots organizations to actually build coalitions and support the work that we all do.
Yes. Okay. That was a mouthful. But no, I think that since corporations do the most damage, clearly they need to be giving back the most. And it starts with $1, right? Just in the communities that they're impacting, because they seem to like always set up shop in the most vulnerable communities, right? So they really need to invest in these communities, hire people from these communities, and tap into that in a non-exploitive way. And then full disclosure, because they're really masterful at creating their own storylines and making themselves look like some Captain Save 'em. And we already know it's like you're doing all the damage. So whatever you're fixing right now is like still not enough. But come with the money and full disclosure and hire us. I think are the three things.
Ooh. I'm gonna start by saying I skipped a lot of the panel this week, just knowing that, like, I'm not a teenager. I've been to enough of these sorts of things to know that the highlight and the best part is just being with all of you at events like this. And that, like, also the people in this room probably need to hear what they're saying, whether it's substantial or not the least. And so it's nice to just have a moment to listen to some music.
Yeah.
Thank you. So on the corporation side, I mean, I think that there's just so much nuance, and there's no angel corporation that's going to do everything right, and we all know that. So it's just about, like, transparency to me about what it is that you're doing, and just being really honest about the struggles that you're coming to and communicating, like, the process of being better. And I want to see a lot more corporations tackle policy and their own supply chains before they do anything else, because that's really where change happens. And, like, can we talk about Patagonia?
Yeah.
I love you guys, Patagonia. I'll start there. But, like, there's a lot of nuance here, and I love the announcement. I love what Patagonia has decided to do. I understand a lot of people talking about, like, it's a tax break. Well, that's really a commentary on the system, more than it's a commentary on Patagonia. People do philanthropy for tax breaks all the time. And, like, as much as I want people to see this as a great example to follow, I also want, like, a nuanced conversation, like, hold both truths at the same time, where Patagonia is making stuff from petroleum products. Like, this is all synthetic materials. Like, can we have that conversation too while we're having a conversation about how amazing it is that they are doing what they're doing? Okay, that was a little bit of a rant. Thank you for being with me for it.
We're here for it. All of it.
Yeah, we're so here for it. And yeah, I think those are a lot of really good points. And I think when we talk about building coalitions and just working with each other, there's always so much nuance, especially because we live in a system and we're all trying to do, the best that we can. So I think that was definitely a great point.
Can I draw a quote?
Yeah,
I'm going to try
please.
to do this from memory. Okay, it's Fitzgerald. The test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposed ideas in the mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function.
Why did you think of that?
Because it's like you have to look at it as they're doing amazing things, and there's also a lot of room for improvement, and it's not, no one corporation or person is good or bad, and we need to be here for, like, that gray area where we're figuring it all out in a sense.
Yeah, totally. Cool. Well, thank you for answering that. I wanted to move to a question that is a little bit more about identity and maybe a little bit more personal. I think that between the three of our orgs, something that we all believe in is deeply valuing identity in our work, whether that is race, culture, religion, gender, and the many intersections of those. For a long time, one dominant identity group has been at the center of the environmental movement, and we're all working to change that. So Jasmine, I know it's Latina Heritage Month, and I wanted to ask you how your personal identity and culture fuels the work that you do at Hood Hikers, and how you wish more Latina identities were centered not only this month, but every day.
Okay, so a little bit about my background is I'm Puerto Rican. I was born in the Bronx, so that's like a special breed of Puerto Ricans. A little different from the island, you know. I have family out there too, and I love Puerto Rico, but it's definitely its own flavor if you're from the Bronx. And so I think I bring, you're gonna have to ask the Hood Hikers what I bring to the trail, but we have one around here somewhere. And Belen, I think, would agree that I definitely bring my Bronx Puerto Ricanness everywhere. Heavy on the Bronx, like you saw, BS. And a lot of our participants are from the Bronx or from Brooklyn, you know, and it resonates with them because they know that culture. Like, it's hip hop, it's Bad Bunny. It's like really eclectic. It can go to alternative, especially like I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, so it was just one huge melting pot out here. And I think that is in everything I do. I'm also a civil litigator. I'm an attorney. So in the courtroom, I don't leave all that behind. Exactly. It comes to the courtroom too. So it's like, you know, you live, you breathe, you live that culture. So I bring it to the trail. We're out there partying pretty much. It's like we're chilling on the block. It's like, you know, but we're in nature and we're reconnecting and giving ourselves like a reprieve from all this city madness. And how do I want Latinas? Like we're always representing, like you know what I'm saying? And I feel like the Hood Hikers is special because we're representing for all Black and brown people. Like we're heavy out here, but Latinas are really represented in this climate movement. Like there's a lot of women doing their thing. There's a lot of men doing their thing. Good organizations out here, and I would just like to see them continuing the work and making sure that they're pulling in their Afro Latinos into the equation because historically we have some issues with that amongst us. You know, and just bring all of that out and be real with it and make sure we're really diversifying these spaces.
Yeah, thank you for touching on that. I think it's so beautiful when you go to a space and you can just see someone being themselves. Like, I think a lot of times we don't, you know, we all have different identities depending on what space we're in. But I think you can always tell when you're somewhere and people feel comfortable. They feel comfortable to just present themselves the way that they want to be presented in that moment. And I think you all do a really beautiful job of that in the outdoors where everyone should belong. Yeah. So, Max, I wanted to make some time to talk about something that I think we've both been thinking a lot about, and yes, which feels so special because there aren't a lot of us out here, and especially in the environmental community. So it means a lot to me to have you here tonight and to be in conversation with each other. And, you know, I was born and raised in Iran. I have a lot of family still there. And although that identity is really important to me, I've recently realized that I have blocked off so many of the memories from my time there because of the trauma that myself and still many women and girls experience. And, you know, because of the government's just imposements on basic human rights. So I know that you're also Iranian, and I was wondering if you could shed a little light on what is happening in Iran right now and how others who aren't Iranian can support the very brave people of Iran.
I love this. Before I answer the question, I think I want to touch on something else you said. It's so interesting to me because my parents are immigrants and they left Iran during the revolution and they never went back, and no one in my family has ever gone back because we're Jewish and it's not safe, to say the least. And I always joke that like I feel so close to this heritage, but the Iran that I know is stuck in the 1970s. Like if I tell you the words that I think are like bad words in Farsi, you're probably gonna laugh because they are so not like the current bad words, you know?
I don't think I would know either.
You know, it's like pederstag is like the worst word you could say to my parents.
Yep.
But like did it hold?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think my parents taught me those words.
And so the Iran that I know is in this like 1970s time capsule and it's romanticized. Like I have pictures of my mom and her sisters in mini skirts, like having the time of their lives, like so proud to be having so much freedom as women and have their hair out and their hair down and all this stuff. So when you talk about like this trauma and wanting to block out this memory, I'm feeling like I want to give you this time capsule that I have, because that like we need to, in order to imagine the future that we want, we need to really like access, you know, and there's another quote. It's coming to me. Who controls the present controls the past, and who controls the past controls the future.
Yeah.
And so much of climate work is rewriting narratives so that we can imagine the future that we want to live in and not just like dread the future that we hear about coming all the time. And so I think this dialogue is really cool to share the future, to build the future that we want to see for Iran. Okay, so that was my rant. And then I'll get back to your question. What do I think we can do? I mean, we see what people are saying, like the world is watching, and we need that on both sides, like for the enemy and for the people that we're trying to support, because I think all of us in the climate world know that like the most sustaining thing that you can receive is just knowing that you have people cheering you on the sidelines. And I wish I could say more, you know, like direct, like here's where you can like do this and do that. But it's so hard.
Yeah.
And I just think that paying attention does so much. And sharing the stories and talking about it and doing what we can digitally from a distance to show the women in Iran and the men that supporting them, that we support all of them. And let's hope that there's a revolution and that it's just, because we don't always just want change blindly. We want to know exactly what it is that we want at the same time, and that you and I can go to Iran one day.
I hope so. We'll go together. We'll go talk to the amazing environmentalists out there. Yeah, thank you for touching on that and for also describing that beautiful vision of Iran that you have, because I think that it can exist and it will exist. And, you know, not just for people to be able to wear their mini skirts or whatever it is that they want to wear, but also for people to have the right to choose to wear their hijab, to have the right to be Jewish and be Muslim and be Baha'i and be whatever it is that speaks to them. And I think that with the support of the global community, we can support the people of Iran in making that happen. And so I would just ask that you all please support our people, because social justice is environmental justice, and all of the work that we do together will make the future that we want to live in. Thank you. And thank you for allowing us to have that moment. I think, you know, it is really important for us to be able to share this space with you all. So a little bit on that future that we've been talking about. And we've been talking about some heavy things, and I know that this work can be really heavy a lot of the time itself. So, you know, sometimes I think about the fact that every day we wake up and our world is literally drowning, from Pakistan to Puerto Rico, and it's on fire. In the Bay Area where I live, we have smoke in the clouds almost all year round. And then we go about our days. We go to our meetings, we, you know, say hi to our family, and we make our food, and we just continue to exist and continue to do this work. So I was wondering what gives you all the energy to continue this work, and what you imagine for the future of our world to look like when you close your eyes and build a new reality.
Give me that first part again, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, just what gives you energy to continue this work?
Clearly, I'm lacking a little bit of energy today.
No worries.
But usually, it's actually my hood hikers, man. When I'm really down and depleted, someone will send me a message like, "Thank you for creating this space and holding this event," and I'm like, "Oh, thank you." Like I was so tired. But they really push me to keep making sure I get people out there in nature, because I see the impact it has on them. They feel so good after, and it's like, why wouldn't you want to bring that to your community? Yeah, and envisioning the world that we want to create, that's so broad, but I would say a world where we don't have these obstacles that are easily remedied. Like a lot of our hikers, they don't have hiking boots, they don't have trekking poles, they don't have the gear necessary to really go out there, and we are able to provide that. But no one should be without things like that to enjoy nature and just enjoy their very short lives here without so much burden.
Thank you for sharing that, Max.
So much I could say right now. I'm gonna get a little deep. I'm gonna get a little dark. And I wasn't that young. This wasn't, environmentalism wasn't a part of my identity since I was 12. I know so many people in here feel like we saw so many kids today in the streets that are like, they're picking their noses and they're like, climate justice. It's so cute. That was not me. I was probably 26 when this world opened up to me. And I just was like, I need to understand climate science and read everything and really open that door. And it was a really scary thing to do. And I read everything and I got really angry. And I got so angry. And I didn't know where to place my anger. Because it's just like, oh my God, this is a problem we can solve, but it's all about like political will and like willingness to change, and people are sitting around and doing nothing, like, and idling their car on my sidewalk all day long, and like all these little things and all the big things were just making me crazy. And because I didn't know where to place that anger, I definitely got depressed. And that was really hard and really like immobilized, like you don't know what to do with yourself. And then I just started doing something and like finding weird skills of mine that culminated in graphics on Instagram. And like I have never been, even though now I'm in this work all the time and I'm paying attention to all of the sad shit all day long, I have never been as sad as I was before I started doing something about it. And that was a big lesson for me to just, like, anger is really useful, but if you hold on to it for too long and you don't place it somewhere, it can be really bad. And finding the thing that I could contribute, which like is weird to say, it's like literally infographics on social media, but there's a role for everybody. So make music, make memes, like make art.
Climate memes.
We need those.
Yeah.
We live for those. Scratch the itch and find your little corner of this world if you haven't already, because that's really what keeps me going. And if that's what started me going, I think what sustains at this point is just being in community and being able to connect with other people that you don't even need to like have the conversation. I don't need to have the conversation. We already got deep over there before we even started. Like you just have this instant connection with people that you know have been through what you've been through, and that's like a really beautiful thing. So I love that too.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think mental health is such a big part of the work that we do, and I think people are starting to talk about it a little bit more now, but I remember being like 16 and being so depressed about climate change and about my people in Iran. You know, like my grandparents have really bad heart problems because of the pollution in Tehran. And I just remember that feeling really sad and really lonely. And just like you, I didn't feel like I could move on until I started to do something about it and until I met the people that I could do that with. And so I hope that tonight we're able to connect with each other. Please meet folks in this room, and maybe you all can do something together as well. Max and Jasmine, thank you so much for being with us tonight. I hope you all get to meet everyone. And thanks again for the beautiful work you do. Can we give a round of applause? Awesome.